Good morning, everybody. How are you today?
Good.
Today nice weather. Looks good. I don't know. It's cold. Or
No, it's nice.
it's nice.
Yes.
That's good. Now all the flowers coming, all the trees get the new leaves. It's very beautiful. Okay. Everybody said the perfect motivation to every beings wish to happy, right? Everybody happy. Everybody wish to wonderful life, peaceful life, unchanged happiness. Right?
Yeah.
But we sometimes a little bit happy that it's easy to change. Just a little switch. It's easy to switch off. Therefore, anyway, same as all the sentient beings too happy, unwandering thoughtful, same as us. Therefore, we like to help to all the sentient beings to try to help for them happy, but we have not ability to make all the sentient beings happy. Just forgot all the sentient beings, just ourselves not happy. Therefore, if we wish to happy, unchanging happy, and also help for other beings, then we need to achieve enlightenment, Buddhahood. We all have Buddha's nature. Depends how we put the conditions, effort to ripen the Buddha nature. Same as the weeds, apple seed, the orange seed. They all have ability to grow the new apples. Since when we put under the ground, put all the conditions, then they grow. Same as us, we have all have Buddha nature, but he doesn't have enough to put conditions. Therefore, we always so. Therefore, we have to motivation to, in order to benefit all the sentient beings, then we have to achieve enlightenment. Therefore, I study Buddha Dharma, meditation, I listen to teaching, and benefit for all the sentient beings. Therefore, I'm going to do these activities. This you can set up this motivation. It's very good. Even usually, whatever we do, things depends on our motivation. Motivation has a big power. When we study at home, our mind, some thinking, okay, today I have to do that, I have to do it. First is motivation, then you activities, our body, speech, mind, right? Therefore, motivation is very good, very important. Always thinking in the morning, when you get up, thinking, today I try to my best, all my co-workers. Try to don't get angry each other. Try to my boss happy. Anyway, try to peace life, peaceful day. If you want that peace, then next day, 1 week, 3 weeks, 1 month, 1 year, you can improve your peaceful life. Usually peace is all the single person has. Usually we wish, we say peace, peace, peace. Peace not come from outside. Never, ever come from outside. Peace come from our peace, is that correct? Did I say correct?
Yes.
Peace come from our mind. You know, even the violence not come from outside. You know, the person's mind, the motivation, then they grow up, then how they destroy, how they harm. Then they do activities, then they violence start. Not just come from someone put bomb up there. Therefore, peace is come from inside, inner peace, not outer things, inner peace. Inner peace we develop, not one time, one day. You cannot develop one day here, peace. Just single person, they can develop their own inner peace. Then the family, then neighbor, then city, then state, then country. They can go all the world. You know, for example, one family has father and mother. They're very peaceful, very friendly. Then the kids, all over they become peace. You know, they can learn the parents. Or the parents always argue, no, they always argue next to the kids. The kids, all over, they also learn these things. We put the emphasis for kids. You know, even though one family has maybe one person, unpeace person, and other one is peace. But who is unpeaceful, they can make all the family unpeace. For example, maybe today is Sunday, all families come together, nice dinner or breakfast. I think maybe this year dinner is more important, right? Maybe early dinner, maybe 4 o'clock. All family come together. Then one maybe husband or maybe wife, maybe kids, unpeaceful person come together. Then they show unhappy face, unhappy words for the group. Then they mix all families' foods, no taste. Unpeace is very easy to make. Because maybe 5 people, then one person's unpeace, the fourth peace, but one person unpeace makes all family unhappy. Right? This is, you guys have experienced, right? All the family there. This is, peace is not just Buddhism. Buddhism, non-Buddhism, religion, non-religion, doesn't matter. It's all beings, we need peace. Yeah. We don't know how you develop our peace. Peace is for our mind develop. Then how we develop peace? We have to think about a result and peace. For example, that is angry. Angry is unpeace mind, right? When we have manifest angry, then your person yourself is unhappy. Also, all your relatives, whoever with you, they are unhappy. Therefore, this is a power to angry. Therefore, if you wish to peace, happy, try to don't angry. Try to don't jealous. Same angry, jealous, attachment, hatred, they all mind coming and very difficult to peace. Even you say peace, mouth says peace, but mind doesn't stop the dead things, then we never get peace. Therefore, then how they come this unpeace minds? Main thing is ignorant, annoying. Usually wisdom is very, very important. Usually we need to wisdom and compassion. Method and passion, very important. Method and passion. Wisdom and method. Right now we talk about method. Method has many different kind of methods. Intelligence, right? Now we can make airplanes, technologies, they all come from methods. People make. Not the missions they come, they not come from themselves. We say, we are made the technology, but we are made to our method. No? Method. One minute.
Shira. Wisdom.
Oh, wisdom. We have to spread to our wisdom. Not technology. Technology we make, right? Human beings make technology, right? Not technology make the human beings. Human beings develop the technology. But if person has very high method.
Wisdom.
Oh, wisdom. Awesome. No, I'm getting old. Very easy to forget. Okay, wisdom. Wisdom has many different kind of wisdoms. Some wisdom we don't need to develop. But we need to, wisdom and patience come together. If some person has negative method, then they destroy all the world. Wisdom. Okay, wisdom. Okay? For example, in the last week, we have what happened. Just, they're very, I think I have to switch off my broken English. 그러나 간시 셔럽이 해와 있나 저 아니 이제 해와 있나 아니 답답해 돈 그래서.
So even if one has a very intelligent mind or wisdom, but if one doesn't have compassion, then that can bring a lot of destruction.
근데 이제 된적이 셔럽이야 셔럽사 라면 먹으래. 나 셔럽 같이 먹으랬어. 셔럽에 라면 먹으랬어.
And wisdom is very important, and also there are many different kinds of wisdoms.
된적 인바인자 다 나주 단다 셔럽사야 돼. 게드가 란드로 신청 말하고 예배가 셔럽들어 갖고 그랬어.
And so the wisdom that we're talking about here, is the wisdom that understands the difference between what is to be cultivated and what is to be abandoned and so forth.
된적 인자 빼나 셔럽위원회 안에 다 셔럽 쇼치게 와지 아니 게드가 란드로 예배 셔럽 매와 있나? 다 뭐지 가서 이상만하다 뭐스는 여러 총송 왔어.
And so if you have that kind of wisdom, which understands a lot of things, but don't have the wisdom, knowing what is good, what is bad, what is virtuous, what is non-virtuous, what is to be cultivated and what is to be abandoned, and then that can cause the problem, just like someone, the body with the wisdom, did that kind of destruction in Boston.
와, 던솔라야 아니 다 그래서 너와 계시고 콜라야 아니 다 르파노 쳐요. 그래서 이나 되게 너가 끼워 있나 소소라야 내고도 다 셔도 내가 그랬어.
So they have this very strong, powerful wisdom to cause harm to others, but they don't have that wisdom which can understand if I do this, will this cause harm to others, will this cause harm to myself or not. They don't have that wisdom to understand that.
어떤지서 만조 wisdom 고야 돼 샤와 테레체나 소소로 내고도 듣는데 뒤를 내 겨와서도 못 겨와서도 되게 해도 거기 그랬어.
And so the kind of wisdom that we need, is the wisdom that which is able to understand doing this action will cause harm to others and myself or not. Engaging in this action will bring a good result or not. Understanding that kind of wisdom is what we need.
된지기 대내와 팀이 제사야 돼. 아직 약합당 남들다 나서 상당히 말했어. 소소당, 소소남이당, 소소 침대 정도 상당히 했어.
And so first, we start with understanding about our own happiness, our own
근데 예바에서 다또 아무도 차트 이 강가 또다 녀몽샤모처럼 그래서 녀몽샤모.
And so as sentient beings, we are all under the influence of the delusions.
아니 녀몽샤모도 제와나 아니 대기 다 리마가 된 샤와 야포처럼 말했어.
And so when we're under the influence of these delusions, then whatever actions we are performing through our body, speech, or mind will not be good.
근데 인자 다 대녀몽샤모 마용어치도 자와 대 마리바라 그래서 대모도 나와서 그래서.
And so in order to be not to fall under the influence or under the control of the delusions, we have to destroy it. And the root of this delusion is the ignorance.
아니 말이 봤어야 돼. 다 지금 개들이 나도 신청 말고 또 별로 또 말 받으시지 그로 되려고 그래서.
And so not knowing, the ignorance, which means not knowing, right? Not knowing what is good, what is bad, what is to be cultivated and what is to be abandoned, what is virtuous and what is non-virtuous.
근데 인다 안에 자세 첨부 시험을 근데 쉬운줄이라고 찍어놔야 다 시합 때 개체만 손으로 그래서 아니 연락 시험으로 연락도 다 탐쳤나 대회 시합 때도 손으로 대회 다 그렇게 대회 시합 때 가서 다 된지 누가 시험 내게나 아니 다 누가 시험 내게 아니 강사지나 누가 잡아 내게 강사지나 아니 다 시합 때 찍어 그래서
So the wisdom is very important in order to eliminate the ignorance, and so that's why, especially the wisdom understanding the reality. So that wisdom is very important in order to overcome the root of the delusion, the ignorance, and that's why Shantideva explained in the 9th chapter of his Guide to the Buddhist Way of Life. At the beginning, it says the Buddha or the Muni or Buddha explain all these for developing the wisdom, and so those who wish to be free from suffering should develop this wisdom.
들리다 들리기 시합때 다 지금 개들이 나도 시점하고 봐또 배가 딱 놓더라고 그래서.
And so that wisdom, is the wisdom which understands without any mistakes the difference between what is to be abandoned and what is to be cultivated.
들리다 쉬운줄라 내가 쬐거든요. 다 내가 그걸 저 그거면 제대 아니 들리 시합때 쬐야 다시 송화를 해라 그랬어.
And so all those chapters, the 10 chapters, the 9th is the wisdom chapter, and below that all other chapters are taught in order to develop the wisdom.
다 들리가 아니 시합이 와야나야 이제 매번이야 백 말했어.
And so even if one has that kind of wisdom, but if one doesn't have compassion, then it will not be of much benefit.
다 이제 가는 제거나 아니 샘체 차상 랑랑 생기 대화도 누가 먼저 봐야 받아 시고 그래서.
And how do we develop that wisdom? I mean, the compassion is by understanding the suffering of other beings, just like oneself. They are all the same in wanting to be happy and not wanting any suffering.
된지글로도 시와였나 아니 라시고 샘체 빠져버렸다 이제 깨어버려 왔어.
And so if one understands that, then one will automatically have a compassion towards other sentient beings.
어떻지? 아니 된지에다 지금 또 개들이 개와다 대파 샤와야도 많이 매가 내가 신청 말고 또 와도 계시 무시라이 말했어.
And so therefore understanding what is good, what is bad, what is virtuous, what is non-virtuous, and what to be cultivated and what is to be abandoned is very important.
근데다 다 남아 산지에 지금 누군가 남자 조대 다 나와서 미냐면 제거 그래서 그래서.
And so in the context of the Buddhism, the main practice to be practiced are the 3 trainings.
아니 들이 나왔는데 다 성질 나왔으나 아니 몇 개와 좀 보면 좀 나서보다 좀 먹고 그래서.
And then so the 3 trainings are the training of morality. So the training of morality is abandoning of the 10 non-virtuous actions and so forth.
아니 들이라 아니 띵이 나왔다 샘 요모 완전 단조 맞추는데 샘 따고 돼야 되더라고.
And the training of concentration, is making sure that one's mind is not, swayed by the delusions, or it's not following the delusions, and so keeping it guarded, from following the delusions.
아니 혈압질라 봤을 때다 이치네를 신청 말아 봐. 개들이네 신청 말아 봐. 또 봐. 제바시 물어들라 혈압질라 봤을 때.
And then the wisdom, or the training of the wisdom, is the mind that understands what is good, what is bad, and training, and understanding and meditating on that.
어떤 놈이 연락을 줘, 다시야 줘 되더라고.
And so those are the three main practices that is explained in Buddhism.
아니 산지 좀 된 데로 송라야, 다 출래, 담비 출래 나만 이어서라고 그래서.
And so Buddha has said that in the Buddhism, or the teachings of the Buddha, there are two aspects.
아니 르 인력은 저쪽에 나가야. 땜베 담시 남니 때, 르다 담면 다니 때. 대해서 시바 마시바 들어가서 거나고 다 송말했어.
So Vasubandhu said in his Abhidhammakosha, so the teachings of the Buddha are of two aspects, or two kinds. The one is the transmitted the teachings, and the other one is the realized teachings.
대니 대는 체니셔 대니 함선행에다가 다 가로 대는 들어가서 다 상기 때문에 무슨 말이에요? 다 주체화해서.
And so practicing those two, are the one who is preserving the teachings of the Buddha.
와, 텐데이다 텐데이가 르기 때마다 또 뱉다면 이차게랬다. 아니 르기 때 봐서야 돼 상지 까마셔 다 까대니 두서라 르기 때 봐서라 그랬어.
And so the transmitted teachings, scriptural teachings, the teachings that Buddha has taught, which is written down, or any teachings that are taught by Buddha is called the scriptural or transmitted teachings.
되게 제자 대 나왔습니다. 대라 또 있다만 그랬어.
And then the subject matter of those teachings are the three trainings, the three higher trainings, and that is called the realized teachings.
그리고 대라 남백의 냠내서는 대 두어나 딱또 뱉다만 르기 때문에 이 남도 요래요.
And so all these teachings of the Buddha can be included into these two, the transmitted or scriptural teaching and realized teachings.
오다 대냠내 재단 걸었다 진강소 지오다 대보다 민감하다 다니다 로정담이라 뭐요래서.
And then the way to practice each, it varies, in many different ways, in terms of the practice, in terms of the explanations and so forth.
어떻게 말다 오다 나와서 냠내. 근데 다 나와서 지 나와서 냠내 다 그런데 제대로 왔어.
So we are supposed to be doing the practice of the three trainings or three trainings all the time, right?
먼저 소소라 지 소야를 담슬이래 열을 담아 열 왔어.
So do we all have some kind of vows to keep or to practice?
이나 다 두어질라 나도 샘 요모고 장은 그래나 효로 그래. 나도 대 가도 왔을 때 등지 나와야 보여 말했어.
So the worst thing is that we always fall under the control of the delusions. So we cannot control ourselves, and that is because we are lacking the practice of the training of concentration.
아니 개들이 내가 휴저 말고 또 혈압에 맞아. 다 나도 그래나 다 요모 사고 그랬어.
And also because we don't have the training of the wisdom, and therefore we always end up creating a lot of delusions in our mind.
와, 근데 요모 싸워야는 요모들 간에 싸워야서 나 간에 샘그 썸설가 땅나 썸이 난서대 끝내나네 지금 링아그 샤와 이제는 내외 샤와이나 다 뒤샤와라 다 요모이 샤와스 되게 레도 이거 하는 그래서.
And so how do we create the delusions in our mind? It's about developing those delusional minds like attachment, anger, and so forth. And so, grasping at the I, and then you intend to cause harm to somebody who has caused harm to you or who you don't like, and so forth. And that with that thought, then you engage in the action of creating harm to others. And so that way, you create these non-virtuous actions based on the delusions.
내가 지내야돼. 지금 몇세야 맨날 쉬어도 되고 그래서 와. 같이 뭐 파초비, 선체 파초비, 링아에서 가져왔는데 소나 한 때는 내가 지스.
And so just by developing that kind of delusional mind, the thought, a negative thought in one's mind, one has already caused harm to others. You don't have to like go out and shoot or hit or stab and so forth in order to harm others. Just by having that thought, you have caused harm to others. So for example, if somebody were to say some bad word to us, we will not be happy, right? Or even if someone looks in a strange way to you, you don't feel happy, right?
Even if someone to watch you, you are very beautiful dressed.
Dressed.
They want to. They say, oh, you. They don't say. They just look at you. You get angry. Why are you looking for me? Usually, I mentioned this many times. Usually, while we're wearing the nice clothes, the makeups, things, two people can see us very nice, right? Purpose? No.
Is that the purpose?
The purpose? We are not the purpose. Right? We want to see people. People can see us nice, beautiful, handsome. But they really looking for you, then we get angry. Therefore, we doesn't know we are doing.
So is that true? If someone look at you because you're looking beautiful, and somebody look at you, you get angry?
No.
Do you get angry?
If they watch you, they're angry, but maybe they're very far away. Then you don't see he or she looking for you, then we don't know. But anyway, look like this country. Anyway, we lot of mistakes, right? We do a lot of mistakes. Therefore, today is a mistake. Mistakes. Thank you. Mistakes. Therefore, in Narasu Tan, Norgi what the Demon Tongo, Muntum, Ham Mako what they tam live to Chong San.
So we don't understand how we are making all these mistakes ourselves, and that way we end up making all these many mistakes. And so if we create this kind of negative thoughts or delusions in our mind, who does it harm to? It harms ourselves, right? For example, the suffering result or the happy result comes from cause, right? For example, in some countries, the people are born very poor, and not only they are born poor, but then they have all these different kinds of diseases. And not only they have disease, but they have incurable diseases, and the disease that cause them to lose their limbs, and so forth.
You guys went to India? When you go to India, the Buddha, some people are not come by ninja mejo. They want to go to the mother. I think I should meet in the middle. Chair that you want
you see there are a lot of poor people with all these limbs missing. It's not that somebody chopped off their limbs, but because of these diseases, it's called leprosy, and some people they even have lost their eyes. That you only see the socket, the hole in the face, but they have no eyeballs.
Also, you can go to India, the Buddha, sometimes they're big gathers. And beggars, hundreds of beggars. And on the roadside. Also, there's not only beggars, also there. Somebody no leg, no feet, no hand, no leg, no eyes. What happened this once? No one did.
It's not somebody to them.
And so do we give them less thought on it.
But it's because it's the result of their negative karma that they have created in the past.
단 쇼치니 단 밑에라고 그래도 와서 가는 거는 되게 자동 좀 되게.
So when we think of that way,
자동용이.
the people who live, like all of us here, we're in the best condition, right? In every aspect. We have complete senses, complete limbs, and we don't have to beg. We have enough food to eat, clothes to wear, place to live, and so forth, right?
Therefore, that the man will lay. automatically
And of course, there are many different conditions that brought these good facilities to us, but but the main cause for this is the good karma that we created in the past lives. And so if we want to have happiness and don't want to have any sufferings in the future, then we should always create good karma, good actions. And so out of compassion or altruistic attitude, trying to bring as many benefit as possible to others is very important, and with that, then engaging in good action, and also trying not to create any non-virtuous actions, and trying not to be under the influence of the delusions, not to have delusional mind like attachment, anger, jealousy, and so forth, and to not engage in non-virtuous actions. So karma is very, very powerful, and it's very difficult to understand. So, for example, we came here all together, we gathered here together, it's because of our karma, right? And so in my case, I'm from Tibet, nomad, very, very far away, very, very far away. And also there are many of you also who came from many different countries, right? So we all gather together here. What made us to become, together here? So there is this subtle karma, detailed karma about all these detailed actions that we each have created, which made us to be here and to be here at this time, in this morning. And so that kind of details can be only understood by omniscient ones, only enlightened, fully enlightened beings. And so when did we create that karma? At what time did we create karma? Or what kind of karma did we create? And all this can be known by the omniscient one.
Okay. All that is
and so this is very important part of the Buddhism, believing in karmic law of cause and effect.
And
so believing that if we create virtuous actions, we will have happiness, and if we create non-virtuous actions, we will have suffering. So that's the karmic law of cause and effect. Practicing that is very important. So there's, if we have to practice the karmic law of cause and effect, then how do we practice it? Then we should think about how our life is very short. So for example, if in my case, I'm sort of in like the middle age now, right? So if I don't meet with the condition for that, maybe I will live to the other half, and And anyway, so half of my life is already gone now.
For example, now we're looking, I'm looking young, right? I'm 40, I think 43 or 44 something. Maybe 34. I like to, share the short. I think 44. Anyway, if 44, then after 44, then how many? 88, right? 88, now 9.
So nowadays the lifespan is decreasing, right? The lifespan of human beings is decreasing. Decreasing. Going down.
Going down.
So so it is not likely for me to live up to 88 years.
Today the time with the shadows of the was, because Tiparach Nasa do one which the Kaji touch to show in Masha, she nature or Chivaina, Kaji Medishka, shadows of the was.
And so that is provided if I don't, get very badly sick and so forth, right? Or get into accident and so forth. So if I don't get into that, then maybe there's a possibility, but still that's very, very unlikely at this time. And anyway, if that were to be true, then half of my life is gone now, right?
Today the time of the Chipar is not only me, we all them. Today by the time of the Chomata, that Tanya was that shit had it to judge my own chatter, that don't give up to go rest, and Chomata can go rest.
And so half of the life is gone, and now maybe there's a half left. But anyway, so even that will be gone soon, right? In a blink of an eye, that will be gone too. And when that happens, then what's going to happen to us? They're not going to disappear there, not going to stop there, not going to end there. It's going to continue to the next life. So what is going to happen in the next life, whether it's going to be good or bad, it depends what kind of actions we have created. And so in order to engage in creating good actions, then we have to think about death and impermanence from now. So if we think about that, then we'll start to think about future lives. If we think about the death, then we'll think about future lives. If we think about future life, then we'll think what do we want to have in the future life. So since we want to have a good in the future life, then we'll think about creating virtuous actions, right? And then if we have created virtuous actions throughout our life, then at the time of death, we will not die with the regret and thinking that we were not able to create any virtuous actions. And so because one has practiced virtue by thinking about the death, and therefore a person who have thought about death, his mind will be much more peaceful at the time of death than a person who have not thought about death and not has created any virtuous actions. And so, like in this country, we have the old folks' home, nursing homes, right, where many old people live, and then also the old folks, Tibetans, Tibetan old folks, who go around creating virtuous actions. So their mind is much more peaceful. That's because they have heard about the death and impermanence and have engaged in virtuous actions, so that helps them, right? And so when we grow old, we face with all these many difficulties of our children not taking care of us, or people who serve us not doing their job well, and people not doing what we want them to do, and so forth. So this kind of difficulties.
I'm not looking
I'm not trying to scare you here, but this is how it is, right?
Correct?
Yeah.
No. We are in 근데 다 강가도 마다 같이 되는 용도 왔어. 전부 차리 소리 가만히 와. 이 소리지. 잡도 되는 거 용도 왔어.
So this happens a lot, right? Not everybody, not to all, but to many. That right now we take care of our children, and we cannot even dare to leave them alone for a few seconds, and thinking that they will be harmed and so forth. But yet, when they grow big, they don't listen to us, and they don't. They will not take care of us. They will not do any, listen to us or do any good to us. And so that is, not to everybody, but to many people that happens, right? And so the children, they don't care about the parents, right? But the parents, they never give up about the children, no matter how much grown up they are. They still always think about the children. And so anyway, so when we are retired, and when we are old and retired, not having a regret at that time, making sure that we don't have regret at that time is very important. And so there's a saying the Kadamba masters used to say, I don't remember exactly, but says, the first 20 years we don't think about Dharma at all, right? And then the second 20 years we think about the Dharma. And then the third 20 years we think about, oh, I should practice Dharma, I should practice Dharma. And then the fourth 20 years we say, oh, this is too late to practice Dharma, it's too late. That's how we waste our time, right? Or use up our time. And so that's why it is very, thinking about the death and impermanence is very much strongly emphasized in all these teachings. And so, if we keep thinking that I'm going to do later, we will not do it all, and then maybe come to a time where we will say it's too late to do. So if we want to do, we should do from right now. And so last time we were talking about the death and impermanence, which is in the context of which is within the small scopes practice, small scope parts practice, and so there we talked about the death and impermanence, right? So there are 6 drawbacks of not thinking about death. So for example, we go to work every day, right? So the reason why we go to work is so that we will not face difficulties tomorrow, next day, or the next month, or next year, or for many years later, right? So not to have difficulties in those times, not because we don't want to have difficulties at this time, on that day, the day when you go to work, not for that day, right? It's for the later days.
Also, we think about retirement, right? But there is a indeed call on to some Tani, not to check.
So because for that later time, then we go to work, no matter how difficult it is, how tired it is, we go to work, right? And so just like that, so thinking about death is very important now, so that we will be prepared at the later time. So even if one has not created so much virtuous actions throughout the life, but if one is able to die, is able to have develop a virtuous mind at the time of death, then that person will have a good rebirth. The immediate rebirth will be very good. But to have that to develop that kind of virtuous mind at the time of death is very difficult. In order to have a virtuous mind at that time, we have to train our mind to have that. And so most of the time, when we die with attachment. So attachment to one's own body, maybe, and one's family, one's spouse, children, or relatives, friends, and so forth, and possessions. So when one realizes that one is dying, and at that time, then one will think about all these things that one is going to leave behind, and then one will be very strongly attached to those things, people and the things, and then die with that kind of attachment.
Okay, that didn't know. That didn't show me the book of some of power. And I check legend is why I don't see Gawala said you have plenty of that. So
so if we think about the death and impermanence, then that will help us to engage in the virtuous actions and not engaging in non-virtuous actions and so forth. So therefore, contemplating or meditating on death and impermanence is very important.
Okay.
So last thing we talked about, the 6 drawbacks, right? So one of which is that if we don't think about death, then we will not think about dharma. And so there's drawbacks if you don't think about death, but there are also benefits, advantages if you think about death.
Okay.
So we don't want to die, we don't want to even hear the word death, but it's going to come to us, to all of us, right?
Even you don't want it, it's coming, nothing to do. We have to go through that. Therefore, 단단히 지금 그걸 써놓 따와 있나? 딱그 용지 지금 강연 채워는 딱 용지 영어를 해서 인생하게 말해서 따와 있나? 아니 나도 소주 샘지 그래. 그러니까 그 영어들이 너무 별로서 좀 당신은.
So instead of trying to deny it, if we accept it and says yes, this is going to happen. I'm nothing special, it's happening to everybody, so it's going to happen to me. So it's okay if you think like that. Then it's easier to handle when you actually face the death.
그래서 텔레페미시 딱 주세요 제가 그래서 내가 주소서 지금 많이 장고 지면 돼. 꼬라치면 지면 제가이나 소소를 뱅기를 했어.
And what is going to be of most benefit at the time of death when it happens is the dharma. So when one realizes that, then one will strive to practice dharma in any way one can, even just by circumambulating the holy objects or by reciting a mala of mantra and so forth.
아니 저리 참아라 배야 소소 나도 배야 추마지 짜라 개개요 말해서.
So it's true that it's only the dharma that's going to be of any benefit at the time of death, nothing else.
아니 먼저 다들 먹으라고. 다들 사진이 봐. 저와 저기 변형돼 있어.
So today we're going to start from that the outline 130, and if you have the blue cover book, it is page 301. And it's so today we're going to talk about the advantage of being most, the advantage of memory of death.
130.
Outline number 130.
Okay. 생각도 다 못하는 말.
129, which is the first one.
아니
That is the first one.
사실 동본이반이나 그냥 눌렀어. We had a look.
Okay, so let's read together this, the first, the outline 30 and outline 31. Okay, 130 and 131. Recollecting that is most beneficial, as Buddha, our teacher, said in the Great Sutra on Buddha's Nirvana. Among animals, among all attitudes that are just impermanent is the best. In other words, you practice the Dharma faultlessly when you recall that, wanting to achieve a good rebirth in the future, you will practice generosity, upward ethics, and so forth. In short, the recollection of death will lead you through the whole lam-rim, through the three scholars, right to the unification. When Yong Tenpa's benefactor died, this inspired Yorepa, Yong Tenpa's disciple, to practice Dharma. Many of the great Dats used to hold sculptures, complex made of human bones, and so on, to improve their awareness of death and impermanence. The Vinaya speaks of keeping drawings of skeletons and the like for the same reason. Geshe Ngawang said, if you do not do at least one meditation session on impermanence in the morning, I think you will devote the whole day to this. And Changsen Drapa said, if you did not recall impermanence in the morning, then you will devote the morning to this life. And if you did not devote this recollection at noon, you will devote the afternoon to this life. If you devote yourself to this life, whatever you do will not be Dharma. If you recall death and impermanence, they say you will destroy the Dharma, attachment, anger, and so on. You will have great power to complete the accumulation, and it is like a hammer to destroy all your delusions and misdeeds at one stroke.
Okay, good. Even we don't understand, we write, we read this book was very influence, very powerful. Okay? But now you understand what they're talking about. It's not just this is the Buddha's.
And so this is taught by Buddha's own experience.
Okay, don't you?
So if you remember the death and impermanence, then you can make the most beneficial of it. It says in the sutra, right, that among animal tribe, that of the elephant is the best. So they're saying like it has the biggest footprint, right?
It's true. What dinosaur? Dinosaur. You know, is a dinosaur, right?
Yeah.
They said the biggest animal dinosaur is
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. But it exists? No one saw? I don't know. Anyway. But even maybe exists or maybe not. Yeah. But we Tibetan, what is Buddhism believe the biggest animal are the elephant. But the fruit.
The fruit.
So the biggest footprint.
Okay. And then
it says that among all the attitudes, that of the death and impermanence is the best.
And the Shinka
in the lam-rim Chemo, the great exposition of the status part, it says that the best of the field is the field during autumn.
But you guys are not idea. You all maybe city boys, girls. The countryside people there. Some people, what do you call it? Are you countryside? Oh, usually the countryside people, what is that? The film halls. The Shinka
So they walk in the fields, right?
And also special rice. Rice is very, very hard working. Do you guys saw anyone with a rice? Maybe she saw. In China, they not put rice. Yeah. In India, the flour rice is very difficult. anyway, the Shinga Gangan, Shinga Yasho, and that don't have the yes.
So anyway, among all the fields, the field during the autumn is the best.
Today that the Shingan and Chomotaman, the Shin Chok Job, the Karesana, and Chomotava Trembana, Chushyamashiba, almost that Chuyaboshima, yes.
And so, so among all the attitude of the death and impermanence of death, the reason is because if we think about death, and then the practice of the Dharma will be very good.
That's Shama then Sambo Topando, Nasta Changi, Jawashimayachi, then Sambo Yaboy Tobadona, and then Shimbaton, Suchumson, Zovago, Mslam.
So if you wish to achieve a good rebirth in the future, then he says you should practice generosity, practice ethics, and so forth.
And then Digi is Shimba in Jimmy Sulu.
So generosity, practicing generosity doesn't mean that you go out and actually give those material things, right?
Shimba, Sansi Shimba, Chuchi Shimba. And
so the Dharma, the generosity, there are three different kinds, right? The generosity of the material things is one, and then generosity or giving, giving of the material things, giving of protection is the other one, and then giving of the Dharma teaching is the third one.
Yeah. Today that the Kari Chetoina, Jimbo Shirina, and it is Octavano. What did you say?
So like giving of the protection is like, if someone is in danger, you can try to help them. Like if there's a bug almost dying, then you try to save it. If it's drowning in the water, then take it out from the water. Things like that. So that's the practice of giving of life, giving of protection.
And then something is about the kind of cow was something is about it. That's what Java part of
and the giving of the material is very difficult, right?
Usually we donation for what things we don't want, we donate. This is a good also, you don't just throw out the trash, you give some pledge donation. We throw up here some other countries, Nepal, India, China, the poor areas, they can use the go, get much more,
that they can use it over there.
When I was in Nepal, they give a lot of, everybody got the shoes, the shoes. They're not same shoes, exactly same, they're all not new, all. They say, after that time we don't know, we come far away, we don't have enough shoes, but they give shoes, it's very happy for us. After we know that the shoes come from donation for the United States, who doesn't want, then they put place to donate. Then they collect all together in some different area. There are a lot of benefits. Therefore, you have a lot of, I believe you have a lot of unused picture matter,
full of unused clothes, right?
Right? Then maybe, of course, you guys do that, put some donation place, then they're also useful. And look like that, okay? This is also good. You can pen back to the Suzuki, gaining some mathematics, pen which is a part.
It's not just thinking of it as a trash and getting rid of it, but thinking that, this might be of some benefit to others, so for that reason I'm going to give it as a donation. If you think like that, then it's very beneficial to your mind.
Therefore, if you have too much, don't keep, just give up. You don't use, just
So it's just taking up your space, right? So don't hold on to it for too long.
I saw some people have this cloth, no space to put different, very tight. Also a lot of shoes, maybe 50 different shoes some people has. Look like that, sometimes we don't use, sometimes we never use. This thing maybe some place to, they're looking for the donation, then keep that more than they want. Otherwise, just stay there, and one day someone comes and they put trash. What in that is much, and Thubten said that no room give a church, from the some laws, but that's the number of
And then the practice of ethics, there are many practice of ethics like abandoning the 10 virtuous actions and so forth.
And Zoba Gomores,
practice patience.
What is that? Donna Jevos and Jevos, some Sunjuka Paja, Langan by Chasson, Tindiga, Chawamatabat, the shit that anything, the Chasson, Jam with the accumulates.
So if you think about death and impermanence, then this will all come, right? This practice, you will engage in these practices. And it says, in short, the whole lam-rim, the whole gradual path to enlightenment, through the three scopes, right to the unification will come if we think about death and impermanence.
And then Jim Melapa, and that Konak is another Shabin Pen, and it's another Tonga, that run a church or the Shomares, Chokawares.
Soon also true.
Chimalaya, the Yetoji and dog, she can't choose a God say.
And then it says that when Yun Temple's benefactor died, this inspired Minerva, and was disciple to practice Dharma also.
And the Chum Mongo, and a Ganlita, Tokerso, number Chomata to each other, Kamado, Mitova, Narsvedan, and then Milk Kamba Kanto and Tonji, good to Chomata to each other.
And then also it says here, the great adepts used to hold skull cups and then trumpets made of human bones, like thigh bones, and so on, in order to improve their awareness of death and impermanence.
Also, Pevel Solaya, then Chimalaya, Chesed issue, Tail and Tati, and Mazo, Sensi Papa Chigris. They did the garden Chomata to each other. They are Sensi Tonsu, Papa is a me, Chomata, the temperature is in a virus.
So to remind us that this bone used to be of somebody's and it is dead now, so and that reminds of us death. And also they're saying that the mala, the rosaries, there is this in the rosary we put it's called a counter. So there's a counter to count how many rounds of mala that you have done, and then on the string of that counter is made of skin of animal, and so again that is to remind you of the death and impermanence.
Okay. And then the one, and then Chamka, the character was on so much that Chamka to each
And also here it says here, the Vinaya speaks of keeping drawings of skeletons, bathhouse and so forth. It's also for remembering death.
No. And then Gandunde, don't go to what on the old cheers that you don't want. Because you're launching choices. Tiga Kadna and Chudashi Kalaya. Kadana, Chudashi Kadana, Damchoe is Kanchomata, which is in the cheers.
Then also the monk's robe, which has the shape, of an elephant, the trunk of elephant, and also below that, is the mouth, the shape of a mouth, the open mouth, like the mouth of the yama, the death, mouth of death. And so that's also to remind about death.
Also in Tibetan tradition, all the monasteries you can see that behind the door.
So the wheel of life drawing. So there's also, this is on the doorway, so the monks when they go in and out, they see it, so that is to remind them of death. So in the wheel of life, there is the drawing of the 12 link of dependent rising, and then there's the poisonous delusions in the central, and then around them are the 6 realms beings.
Okay, the pictures has a lot of big minis. You can see the details. What is? And the Geshe Ngawang Tenley, Tani, Tamatoba, Tenley, Marchamba, that Nimata Torres,
and so then Geshe Ngawang said that if we don't remember death for that day is gone waste.
And
so if we don't think about death then the whole thing we do, the whole day, the things that we do in the whole day, will be just for this life, and so will not be of any benefit to the next lives.
Okay. Then the page us, not all Matama Matana, and then Nimashe, and that Chavata, and Shima, the Shudo Matabana, no Gomo, and Toronto, that send Sony, and choose Nimachi, Nimani, have that tower, Nimaton.
And so then also Shungchen Yarba said if we do not recall the impermanence in the morning, and you will devote your morning to this life. And if you don't remember or think about death in the afternoon, then the whole noon, afternoon will be devoted to this life. So if we spend all the time devoted to this life, then we'll not do anything for the next lives. And so if we don't, if we do only for this life, then whatever we do will not become dharma. So remembering death has all these great advantages, and so therefore we should always think about death. And so there's the very great benefit also, if you think about the death, and not only that, it's also very powerful. And so it's very powerful because if you think about the death, and then all the all the non-dharma, dharmic things like attachment, anger, and so on will be destroyed. It says you will have power to contemplate and accumulations, and it is like hammer to destroy all your delusions and misdeeds at one stroke.
And 담보 출란 주배 담보원의 출란 주배에 딱 제시를 바다 같이 출란 둘이셔 제시를 타마 같이 바다 저거니 저든 다 상조 코마트가 제시를 and 제가 가지 조진 책이 해요.
And then it says like that it is important at the beginning, the collection of death at the beginning acts as a cause for one to embark on the dharma. It is important in the meantime, in the middle, and in the meantime it acts as a condition to stimulate you to work hard at dharma, and it is important at the end. And at the end, it will bring your dharma practice through to completion by consummating the results.
And then
the third, the next advantage is that you will die happily and gladly.
Do you think anyone died happy? I don't think so, right? For us, but if someone do, they did good practice, they did very good practice, then that kind of shima penang chair, that go gana magari shinshia, then gaji to shino is that was.
So if the person has practiced dharma well in that life and has no regrets, then it says even if I died, no problem. I have done all the things, so I'm prepared for next life. So will not die. Will not have any regret.
And then check out that she module send any kare and then job at the men and power
so it says that death you will have the confidence that comes from practicing dharma faultlessly and be like a son returning to his father's household.
Right? Usually sons go to father's house very easily, right? What is it? That you are Geshe Ngawang Tenley, not Mataba, should not music, not Gemo, should all hide it, Jeji, and so that. She made a work on it, she got not hide it.
So this along the lam-rim which also said, I'm not afraid of being impermanent. I will be an old monk in the morning and get into the body of a god that night.
Right? Today, you was.
So because he has created the cause, right? And so he's not afraid to die.
Today that Shona, and Chawale Trotway go. They much drink and Chawala Mishawash. Tana that Chica Mijoas go. Yes.
What's the Tamburi?
Tamboli, Chawale Trowash.
Trowash.
Chumagowash Kajita, Majinia, and Sanjo Komatash Jores. And G and Chawala Misawa Shanama Gores. Tana that Jopam Gores. Choose a college number.
Did there? They don't do it.
And I choose a Chawala Tross.
Mother Tamburi Chia Gawachi. Yashidika Chia Gawachi. Nobody?
Michelle.
The Casa Joba Casa Kibujin Shivers.
Somebody?
somebody job
근데
담아든다.
담아도 요거는 아니고. 네 가실 때 근데 이게 뭐다. 아랍신의 출라 저와는 tot 안지 문세지 다나 저밤에 봤어. 저는 이게 내가 어떻게 하죠?
근데 저거라 치와라 저거라
저스 안지 문세지 신앙을 하러
저거라
다나 저밤에 봤어. 아
거기서 인사를
거기서 있나?
저거라 저 쟁미스 하나 다는 이거
저밤에 다 찌는 가게 줬어요.
So anyways, it says so the best Dharma practitioners are happy to die. The middling, die gracefully. The least have no regrets. They will feel I managed to practice the Dharma well. It will be easy for me to die now and have no regrets, and so forth. So that's the degree of having practiced the death and impermanence.
근데 다 출래고 시지 쉬우더라. 다시야 냥 미제냐 먹음을 해서 다시 나셔도 주니 아버지 쇼스. 이 지마를 베타. 만 처반지는 저절로 와리스. 성유면에서 아니 리통발라 똑스. 단치와 딸만 쳐발라다 그래. 셔메에서 지마를 손도.
And so just like Mayurpa said here, I fled to the mountains because I feared death. I have realized emptiness and the mind's primary state, mind's primary state. So were I to die now, I have no fear.
네, 오케이. 다 들으세요. 다 같이 문죽 때문에 남들 지죽 내년에 지워다 공부 같이 와서 먼저 지워래서.
So just like that, whatever the biography of the teachers in the past, should be the practice of the students or disciples later.
Okay.
So whatever they did, that's what we should follow.
Okay? Are you scared? I'm joking. No. Okay. Then we can stop here. Then we have homework today. We have homework.
First question. In the path of the small scope, what is the meaning of the first of the 6 drawbacks of not remembering death?
Okay? Who's going to give the answer? Any volunteers? You Karo. So you don't know.
6 drawbacks.
다음에 주요적인 의미 가르쳐. Okay? Okay.
So is it that one is not prepared?
What is that second? If
Is it that one is not prepared for death when death comes? Is that the first?
있어서 다림매버를 그랬어. 지호의 눈을 다림매버 자로 그랬어. 다림매버.
That's good. Then any others? No?
One will only think about this life, nothing about future lives.
We forgot to think about future
lives.
And we have to practice Dharma.
Any other?
We haven't practiced
Dharma.
Dharma and we haven't practiced Dharma. We haven't contemplated the nature of the Buddha wisdom with compassion, attachment, aversion to the body.
Okay. Good. Then any other? 다 대래 다 간제 뭐라 그래야 대래 대라 그래야 다 중수선 그래야 대래스러워. 저와 맞잖아 아니 대 다리고 말해서. 아니 뭐제 다 생각도 또고도 거기 제도 그래서 돼. 단에 또 대래서.
Yeah, so that's true. What all 3 of you said. You will not think about Dharma, right? If you don't remember death, then you will not think about Dharma. And whatever you do will all be for this life, and you will not be prepared for the next lives.
Okay, it's good. Good, you are thinking. It's good. Then what next? Second.
If one practices only for this life, what will be the result?
Okay? 세대 권위 주시는 anything Any? You guys read the book? Oh, you guys send me to homework. when I study English, when I did do homework, so, you know, I go to that class and what they did and I get copy. you read this book, the answer is there. No one read? Yeah. Go ahead.
The result will be only for this life.
Are you guys following him? Against him? Sure.
Agree him?
Agree him?
Agree with him, or is there anybody against him?
If you're against him, then we can discuss it. Okay.
Whatever you do will not be Dharma. If you focus only on this life, whatever you do will not be Dharma.
What was the question?
If one practices only for this life, what will be the result?
Yeah. If they do practice that, the main goal is only this life. That's what happened in the result.
Suffering.
And she said, if you do only this thing, this life, then you don't do practice. That's correct. But the question is, if you do practice that, you do practice only benefit this life. So what happened?
What will be the result?
What is the result?
Suffering.
Suffering? Okay, then?
Actually, I only gave half the answer. It's the results will only be for this life, and in the next life, the result will be the lower realms.
Okay, anyway, why? What is that? 그래서 나도 이용해야 돼. 그러다 레베테 코나니 치라고 그랬어. 또 세리 코니 쳐내다가 세리 코니가 다 되는 거 그래서.
So, like it says here, right? Ask me what the result of thinking only about this life are, and I will tell you they are merely the result of this life. So, means whatever you do for this life will be only for this life. Right? You will not have anything for next life.
간날 이마 배양도 치샤요 말았어.
Because we only did for this life, for who haven't done anything for next life, right?
그래다고 일단 내 배양 고용을 했어. 그러다 어떻게 했어?
So therefore it will be only for this life.
어디 다들 몰라야 돼. 그게 몰라야 돼. 아니 세대 추진 세대 코딩이 책장에 제대로 다 주는 거 말이야. 다 봤어.
So like what you said, if you practice only for this life, then it will not become a dharma practice. That's true.
Okay. Okay. Now third question.
In the same vein, what does it mean by only for this life?
세대 권하지고 있나? 나는 세대 지고 들어가야 돼.
한테는 그랬어. 다 되게 question 내가 여자서.
So you already got the answer, right?
I think they, you have any add something to that?
Means you're not remembering death. Impermanence.
Carol, what is second?
What does it mean by only for this life?
아니, 세대 권위 제대.
세대 권하지도 레스를 같이 그랬어. 레스를 더 가야 돼.
Okay. Yeah, say something. Yeah.
It means that you're not practicing by remembering death and impermanence.
Okay. What do you think?
We're not creating, there's no merit that we're accumulating.
Okay.
We're only following the 8 worldly concerns.
Okay. 다 티가 렌즈오드 내려 간다. 세대 컨디션에서 팀 레버때 가지 레브 심화 팀 레브 심화 요마라고 가지. 레브 심화 그냥 레브 요마리스.
So the answer will be what you said earlier, because this only for this life means you only have this life, so you will not have anything next life.
대다 좋으랬어. 다 대를 저와 집안으로 저와이나 오늘 심화 가는 심화 영화로 이다로 오세요. 다 대 추진이 영화이다로 오서 말이야. 저와 있잖아.
So you only did for this life, so result will be only for this life. And then if result, what does it mean by only for this life? Means that you will have only for the next life, right? No good results next life. And then after the following question will be, then what would happen in the next life? And then so you go to the lower realms, right? And what caused you to go to the lower realms? Practicing Dharma only for this life, did that cause for you, for you to be born in lower realm? But you practice Dharma only for this life, right? And then that says, so what happens? Then it only benefits this life. And then what happens in the next life? Next life you go to the next lower realm, right? And so it sounds like practicing Dharma only for this life caused you to be born in the lower realm. Is it that?
No.
Why is it?
Then what means?
Then what caused you?
What caused? If you practice this life very, very bad, you all die. But when you die, you go to hell.
Bad karma from previous life.
Only one thing.
If you practice only for this life, you're exhausting the merit.
Right.
You've already used it up in this life, so there's no merit left.
So
There's nowhere else to go but down.
Okay, then are you guys agreeing with him? Yeah, they couldn't lie to this kind of Chedi Chedenda, Chedi Chedda, could never know shit about that. Shima Pagita, could you know that? Shima, any Kiwanga lay up to your most social, Tiwanga,
Yeah, so what these the two of them said is true, because whatever you practice in this life is only for this. Was only for this life, right? So you have already used up, the good karma that you practice in this life, and so whatever left in your mind stream, is the imprints of the negative karma that you have created from the past lives, right? And that is the one that leads to be born in the lower realms.
그래서 내 삼삼마치나 안에 체디 코네치는 저 수치나 갈만나 안에 체는 저 때 코네치 그랬어. 오늘 심마가는 양화로 기다려서나 취치와는 양화로 코는도 왔어. 삼삼마치나.
But it sounds like that, right? It sounds like what you did in this life, only for this Dharma practice that you did for this life caused you to be born in the lower realm. When you follow it like that. It sounds like that, but it's not that, but just like what you explained.
tenjeda 나도 개와 가려 싸워야 개와도 조장고 와나 티는 저도 좋아요 말했어.
And so whatever we do, we should do it for the sake of achieving enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. Right? And then at the end, when you dedicate it to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. So if you do that, then all this positive karma that you have created will not be used up until you achieve enlightenment.
개와 조장 말고는 공으로 좀 하나 공으로 되면 개와 내가 잘 모르겠어.
So if you don't dedicate it for the enlightenment, then in between, after you have created the merit and before you gain enlightenment, if you become angry, which is very possible, right? Then you might, you will, destroy that merit. Your merit will get destroyed by the anger.
근데 개와 가리 주로 개와 체주 가리 좀 진짜 사야 돼. 아니 가리나 조장 먹고 되게 좀 잘해 말했어.
So, but if you destroy, but if you dedicate it for the enlightenment, for oneself, for the benefit of all sentient, then it will not be destroyed by anger. It will be there until when it's enlightenment.
Okay. 다 들으려고 인바. Okay, that's it. Then any other questions? Yep. 뭐 교환할 거야.
Excuse me. The practice of the mind stream without falling in the trap of self-cherishing. So, what is the concept in Tibetan Buddhism? The nature of the ineluctable path of time. So the mind stream, to really appreciate and really practice this way, the mind stream is beyond time, beyond the nature of selfishness, beyond the nature so you build your merits from one lifetime to another lifetime, but in reality, the time doesn't exist because it would be emptiness, correct? So I'm trying to clean that space between the breathing, the time of your death, and your concentration point so that we relax, so that we are not so anxious, because you are meditating on death. You are in a transient body, it's your transport, it's your car, you are the body, you're not the body. So how do we move, how do you build the concentration of relaxation at the same time that you are being very alert, very attentive, very gentle with yourself? You share something important today about the wisdom without compassion. So how do you develop this compassion? By creating very simple action. I go into my car and I forgot something in the house, so now I have to go back to the house, take my car, I have to do this. So not to lose the stream of consciousness in the activity of daily life, and yet to be a full practitioner internally in the mystical path. I mean, that's intense in one life. The timing. Like, I think of all these people and I feel like so much inside since what happened with Austin. Because you share something important about the molecule in the brain. You can have compassion, of course, but I come from that background as a child where there was always bombing. But that was never a problem for me to hurt other beings. So that mind stream of compassion for everyone and not kill. But you have to first overcome your own enemies of somebody else's enemies. But that is only one mind stream at a time. One mind stream at a time. Beyond time, I don't know. Yeah.
So say this more like the same together, same the same together mara, same together means the same together because sharap the ninja cola sometimes come dancing back up to that thing is going to make the check with so say same together. the 두지가 가르쳐도 둘이요 두셔야 돼 둘이요 말았어 둘이요 말았어 가서는 둘이다 그 동말았어 둘이요 말았어 내가 그냥 나도 삼도다 노네 나 그냥 뭐라나 친구는 뭐라도 다 되밀랑아도 되밀지야 봐요 제가 되밀 가나요 나와 같이 뭐지 다들 참아 삼도당 채워라 나 되밀 내가 말도 마치는 데는 꼭 채워야 되는 삼도당 채워라 나내 제일 생각해서 되네 나는 제가 쌤들 때마다 최기 삼도당에 가서 삼도당 그랬어 최선단에다 내일 나가신다 내가 제스를 가서 때 최선의 최의 삼도 갔다 왔어.
내가 정말 최선을 주는 거.
최선의 가서 제시를 가서 때는 최선을 갔다 왔어. 쌤님 모두 요야 말했어. 요야랬어. 난 내가 제스를 가서 쌤도 열어다. 마디 지금 삼삼지라. 내 쌤님 모두 요야 가서 내가 자반 인제 거를 열었어.
대자만 이제 렌체만 시다다 소리 가가지고 이용을 했어. 공주나. 아니 로이 직자되면 저 이용하자. 그래서 내가 녀도 제가 그저 말했어. 근데 소수자가 되지 생각이 지금 여유가 있나? 아니 거기는 그냥 조종을 해서.
So like you said, the mind stream is one, right? So it only can manifest at one time. Only one mind can manifest at one time. You can have both mind. You can have good mind and bad mind, right? For example, when your good mind is manifesting, it doesn't mean you don't have bad mind at all. You have bad mind. The bad mind is there, but it's not manifesting. So when you're thinking good, you're not thinking bad at the same time. Right? So just like that, that's easy to understand because you see the contrast, of the bad, good and bad. But then when you're meditating on wisdom on developing compassion at the same time, it's difficult. It's not impossible, but it's difficult for the ordinary beings. Two minds cannot manifest at the same time. But if you have developed it, if you have developed compassion, and then when your wisdom mind is manifesting, your compassion is there. Therefore, that will help you think, your wisdom mind will become good. Will not think about harming others because you have compassion in the background, right? So, excuse me. So when one mind is manifesting, the other mind cannot be there. But then because you have meditated on other mind so much that it's very easy for it to come up also. But when that comes up, of course, this will not be there. It cannot happen at the same time. And so, for example, like in your mind, you have that, the mind thinking about your child, your children all the time, right? It seems like it's all the time there, but it's not manifesting all the time. When you're, deeply, thinking about something else, that thought is not there manifesting, but, it's there in the background.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me stop there. Okay, you are still very well. For me, I have to read 4, 5, 7, 8 times. Therefore, you have to put this book for you next to your mind. Read again and again. Then we say homework question. Usually, my homework question, I'm not talking about outside this book. All this book has, then after this is a different way. And then, some different area with the same book. Therefore, you can read a little bit more. Also, what call it?
So that is the purpose of giving out the homework, so that you'll read it and then answer it.
Okay? Do some activity. Otherwise, I have to write, then send Damchoe here to town letters, send back Devon, then here to send. You have a lot of work here. I'm not saying it's better, but thought to do a little bit more effort to read a little bit more. Okay? Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Uttala.
Please turn to page 39. Thanksgiving.